Okay.
So it's actually 1:05. We can go ahead and get started. So what are we making today?
All right. So first, welcome everybody. I'm Chef Chad Cherry. I'm your host for today. That lovely voice you hear in the background is my wife, co-host, producer, sous chef, whatever you want to get. That's Karen Cherry. Today we're doing holiday meals, but of course I had to put a little spin on it. You know, I had to give it a little drip. So I am big on fusion. If you ask me, Chef, what's your specialty? At this point in my life, it is fusion. It is about what makes the best dish overall. I don't care if I'm mixing Southern with Latin or this, don't care. Fusion. So today's dish is a fusion holiday dish. It's gonna combine two classics from two totally different kind of cultures, and well, almost three actually, once we finish. Let's talk through it. Let's walk through it. So I'm gonna show you what we have, and I would actually like to see if anybody could guess before I just go out there and tell you real quick. So with that being said, starting over here, start of the show, we have some fresh salmon, all right? Then you've got stuffing, baby spinach, tomatoes, sour cream, right? Some tortellini, onions and peppers. Can anybody guess what I'm gonna be doing over here? Anybody want to talk to me? Charnel, anybody? If you can't, it's cool. Because this is a new one even for us. This is a new dish.
Ah, so you're just trying something new, huh?
Oh, yeah. You know you might get anything all day. This is what we do. If you can't know anybody?
Can anybody drop it in the chat or unmute yourself?
And say something.
So what do we have? We have salmon. We have sour cream.
Grape tomato, spinach.
Yeah.
Tortellini.
So this is not a traditional. It's not a traditional meal. You don't have any guesses, Chef Chad.
That's okay. That's okay.
Obviously, it's a pasta dish.
Okay.
Yes.
And he's going to put the salmon in it.
You're off. You can't hear it.
So I like where you're going. I like where you're going, right? And technically, you are correct.
I don't know what the difference is.
Okay.
Here's what we're going to do. So if anybody here has family from the South, you will understand this one. Salmon croquettes. So we're gonna make some salmon croquettes, which is a truly Southern dish. And we're gonna make that with some tortellini, which is an Italian dish. And we are going to tie it together with a version of a cream spinach. Now, here's the deal. Tortellini needs a sauce. Salmon croquette needs a sauce. We normally do some kind of cream sauce or aioli for our salmon croquettes, but since it's Southern, I wanted to add some spice. So it's going to be a spicy cream sauce. That's where the sour cream comes into play. But the vehicle is not a sauce that you drizzle on top. The vehicle for transferring the sauce and tying it into the whole dish is our cream spinach with our grape tomatoes. So that's why I said this is truly a fusion dish. I believe it's gonna be happy. I think my belly's gonna like it. So we're gonna get started, and I think you're gonna like this. Let's do it. First step is for me to glove up.
And while Chef does that, I'm gonna give a little reminder that if you do have questions, this is super interactive.
Oh,
so
yeah.
If you have questions about anything that Chef is doing, please either drop it in the chat or feel free to unmute yourself and ask your question as we go along. Question or comment as we go along. And then if you are, if you have any ideas or something that you have tried similar before, please let us know. And again, this is going to be recorded, so you're going to get the opportunity to watch this recording if you want to try it anytime down the road. And of course, if you try anything that Chef makes, always email us at chefculture, KULTURE, chefculture@gmail.com.
All right, so we have to start with our mise en place, right? Our tortellini gets boiled. So you normally want to start boiling your water. However, this is a very, very quick boil, and we want it still steaming hot. So we're actually not going to do that first this time. But we are going to prep our veggies first this time. We have some onions and peppers. Okay, now we need onions 2 ways. We need peppers 1 way, right? So remember, when we're cutting onions, I always tell you all this. First thing we're gonna do is cut our butts off. Anything round must be made flat. Now, the reason why you wanna do your prep is when you get to cooking, you don't wanna have to stop what you're doing to prep, right? So do all your prep early. So cut your butts off of your onions. Discard those if you don't need them, if you don't want to save them, if you're not composting or making a stock or something, discard them. Cut these in half and peel these edges, right?
Do most of your meals start with onions? Because you use a lot of onions in your demo.
I do. For flavor, you can't beat it. But no, not all of my meals. Just with this, well, you know, a lot of the ones we do have onions in them. Hey, well, if it works.
Is that because you like onions or it just fills on the
Yo,
flavor?
I actually never liked onions growing up, man. I was the guy, I was like, no onions on the burger. But as I got into cooking, I started to appreciate the complexity of onions and peppers. So I don't know, babe. Here, I'm gonna cut these. We're gonna cut lengthwise, then we're gonna turn them and cut them, 90 degrees. We're just gonna dice these. We're not looking for a big cut. You want a smaller cut because these are going into a salmon. So when you get to the end there, roll it over. And I'm moving a little bit quicker because this class you've had me before. Y'all know the skills already, right? This should just be a refresher for most people. This shouldn't be something that we've got to go over too tough. And these onions are threatening to be nuclear. I can smell them over here. Can you smell them over there, babe?
I actually can. I am behind the camera and my eyes are watering.
Atomic onion, boy.
So what kind of onions are those? Just regular yellow onions? Could we use sweet onions? I love sweet onions.
Sweet Vidalia onions, yeah.
I mean,
These are just plain white onions. And we're gonna leave one half, right? Don't cut that half. You're gonna use that later on.
So we could use sweet onions in this? Could we use red onions?
Absolutely.
Okay, so it's just preference then.
Just preference. Well, these are on sale.
Okay, preference and budget.
Preference and budget. All right.
Got it.
Okay, now let's get these bad boys into a container so they can stop assaulting me, because that's what they're trying to do. Now, I'm using the back of my knife when I sweep over here, okay? Back of your knife. And I just have the cutting board hanging a little bit over my table. In this case, it will be you hanging a little bit over the counter. Use the back of the knife, collect your onions, all right? Put them aside. Let's go with our peppers. Let's put these way off to the side. Can I get a fan, babe?
Yes, chef. Yes, chef. And I do want to remind them about you're jumping peppers. I do want to remind them about the I just saw your paper towel under your cutting board.
Under my cutting board, thank you.
So I did want to remind them about that. You're crying.
No, I'm not.
There you are.
Tears of joy. All right. Which one do you want to use? Red and orange, or
I don't want to.
using red.
So I
Okay, that one
don't.
you got.
I mean, I think the yellow because the salmon is going to come out a little orange, right?
Pinkish, yes.
So let's do the yellow so that we have like a contrast in color.
Okay. So once again, fam, my wife picks. Smart man listens to his wife. Let's go ahead and take these things that are round and make them flat. So cut the butts off, top and bottom, right? Top and bottom, huh? Okay, now for this here, these lovely seeds, you're going to take the tip of your blade, this is a chef's knife, and you're going to just put it in, and you're going to separate these little connectors that we have in here. That allows you to drop out seed, okay? Now that we have seed out, you just cut that in half because everything round must be made flat. Okay, if you're wondering what to do with your top, take your thumb, press it right here. Just, just a little flexible right there. Don't do too much. And your thumb actually pushes that top out. Put those aside, just like you put your onion aside, put your top and bottom of your peppers aside. That is a trick too. When you're cooking, always save these for later. Take a Ziploc bag, put those in a Ziploc bag. Reason being, there's gonna come a meal where you wanna just drop in a couple of onions and peppers, like some eggs in the morning or something, and you don't wanna have to cut a whole onion and pepper. And if you have that piece on the side, guess what you are? Good to go, okay? And we only need this little half right here. So we cut that in half. We are now flat. We've got flat pieces. We're going to dice this. So anybody that knows me knows what side to cut this on. Real quick. Thumbs down, don't cut it on the shiny side. Thumbs up, cut it on the waxy. Porous,
On the porous side.
porous side, all right? So just hold it, just give me some thin ones, all right? We're gonna batch this, so we're gonna push all those to the side. We're just gonna cut some thin strips, all right? And don't worry, the more you cut peppers and onions, the better you get at it. They're a little weird because they like to move. They don't like to stay still. They don't always cooperate like everything else that you'll be cutting. You know, they tend to have an attitude, a little mind of their own. And that's when you gotta let them know who's boss over here, all right? You realize that. I talk to my food.
Yes.
My wife talks about me all the time. Okay.
And your pots and your pans and your spoons.
Because you gotta tell it to act right. You know what that is, babe. See, like I said, this one, it likes to move, especially when you get to the end. You have to be very careful with your fingers, okay? It is easy. Understand, it is easy to lose the tip of a fingertip. So let's cut these down in size, all right? And all we did was rotate them. You're gonna have a couple that fall out as you're doing that, so just pull those back, just right in the middle. Once again, we're not looking for perfection here. I'm not judging you. This isn't school. Although there is a final exam.
There is not.
This will not be on it. We just want them kind of small. They don't have to be perfect. Now, for anybody in this group, because there's always someone who went to culinary school, their mama did, their cousin did, uncle somebody, and they're like, oh my gosh, we're supposed to have a certain size. I'm going to tell you why I don't do that. Once again, pull your cutting board a little bit off the counter, place your bowl right underneath, use the back of your knife, and you just sweep, right? You just sweep it right into your bowl. Okay, my philosophy is simple. If my goal is to make you, my people, cook more and cook healthier, then one of the things that I must not do is make it complicated. So there are some complications I just can't, nothing I can do about, all right? But there are some that I can definitely help with. If you notice, cutting stuff is one of the ones I can help with. People are not fans of cutting in general. And all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this skillet on, guys, and I'm gonna turn it to hot. So put it on medium high. And we're gonna go ahead and put some water in it, and we're gonna bring it to boil, right? People are not fans of cutting their food in general. So I wanted to be very cognizant of not making something more complicated than it has to be. As a chef, it would be easy. And I'm filling the stock pot up a little, well, about halfway. So I'm gonna finish my water. A little more than halfway there, right? Anything that I can take a level of complexity out of, I will. So that is why when it comes to cutting, all I say is rough chop. You just have to make sure it's not so huge that it doesn't fit in your mouth, right? Like,
yeah, because oftentimes I think when people don't like peppers and onions,
mm-hmm.
if you were to put slivers into like what we're doing today, so we're doing the salmon croquettes, you don't want to bite like huge slivers of onion or pepper, right?
No.
You want to be able to dice it to where you can get the flavor, but you're not necessarily getting that longer texture, especially if you overcook the.
And I'm just dropping a little bit of adobo.
Especially if you overcook the vegetables, right? So if you overcook the onions, you overcook the peppers, then they get kind of just slimy.
Yes.
And that's not cool.
Yes. And so we don't want to do that, right? But we still want to be able to enjoy our meal. Now, salmon for salmon croquettes.
Yes.
Fold, salmon. Friends, okay, we have to, this salmon has skin on it. We're gonna wanna remove the skin. We're actually gonna use the same bowl that we're mixing in. I don't wanna contaminate my cutting boards, so I'm actually gonna just do this in a bowl. You guys can do this at home. I'm gonna take my knife. This is my santofu. It's fluted or beveled. Those are supposed to allow stuff to release, get a little bit of air under there. So this is particular. I said particular.
Particular.
Please don't tell nobody about that. If we family, yo, we'll keep that to yourself. Particular, right? Knife. And what I'm going to do is, since this just came out the package, actually, I'm being a bad boy. I will re-sanitize this later. I gotta put just a little bit of lemon juice on there. That's just my
Which
personal
will add,
thing.
I mean, it'll help
Helps with the
clean-
flavor
fla-
and clean it.
yeah, flavor and clean salmon. So
And it's
in
not a lot. It's not a
terms-
lot of lemon juice. It's literally just a couple capfuls. I'm gonna rub it right on top of the salmon. That's just because it just came out of the pack, and I just believe in helping out with that. This is now contaminated and putting it to the bottom.
So in terms of budget cooking, was this salmon on sale? Like, where'd you get the salmon?
Yeah, I got the salmon from Winn-Dixie. They had cut it fresh, and all the salmon is on sale till this Tuesday. So I was super excited about that.
Yeah.
Because it's a really good deal, and because the skin is still on it, it's actually about, I think at this point, $3 less per ounce. Okay, so that we like. So all I'm gonna do down here is I'm gonna make a slight incision. You know what I'm doing wrong, babe?
Yes.
You know what I'm doing wrong?
Yes.
I'm being too chefy.
Okay.
What did I just say I wasn't gonna do?
Okay. So you're gonna show them a regular way to do it?
I'm gonna show them an easier way.
Okay.
Right? We're not gonna remove that skin. Let's get on it. I had another skillet somewhere. That'll come out in a second.
I'll get it for you if you need
Okay.
it.
So I literally just talked about removing layers of complexity. Let's be smart about this. We need this salmon here for a croquette. So if you want to know how to remove the skin, see how I put my thumb right in the side over here? I'm pinching it. I got my thumb. I'm going to take the edge of my blade and I'm going to cut up a little bit, and then I'm just going to pull it.
And it comes off so
It comes off. This
so
is
easily.
not, it's not super hard, right? You can get down there and you can cut it, you can scrape it, you can do whatever you want. Me, I just like doing a little pull method. It takes a little getting used to, especially in a bowl, but it's starting to come off. I'm gonna
Yeah.
show
So if you were
another way.
to do it on the cutting board, you could like lay it flat,
Lay it flat.
put a
you know,
little bit of
that's the
pressure.
right way. Should I just show them the right way?
I'll get you another cutting board if
Okay.
you like.
So the right way, and you notice it's already there, right? Is to lay it flat. You get underneath it. You just go right under that skin. You see where I'm getting right here? There's another layer underneath. That's okay. Don't worry about that. You don't have to get all of that off. But you just come right underneath, and it starts to separate. Okay? And that is okay if you miss some of the salmon. If you don't get all the salmon, that is okay.
And
I'm
we're
show
gonna,
you another technique.
if they're going to present the salmon, like if you're just gonna keep the salmon whole. So we're making salmon croquettes.
So we don't
So it's
care
gonna
about
be
presentation.
it's gonna be broken up. We don't
Yeah,
care
we
about
don't care about
presentation.
presentation.
But if I wanted to buy salmon without the skin at a really good price, like where would I go for that?
So without the skin, really good price, I'm saying Sam's. I think Sam's has it right now. But there's a few other places. There's obviously fish markets. What I'm going to do to help get this off of here is we're actually going to put this in a skillet. We're going to start the cooking process.
So you're showing two different techniques.
Two different techniques. I showed you the first one, and you want to get a filleting knife, but you can drop this right into this skillet, right? What's going to happen is salmon is super flaky. So as it cooks, we're going to be able to then remove it from the skin. So that's the easier, non-chefy, non-complicated way, especially because we don't care about presentation. Okay? So let's let that start cooking.
I mean, we care about presentation, but it's going to end up being the salmon croquette presentation.
Yes, it's not going to be,
Right. Okay.
we're not going to.
It's not going to be the full.
So yes, we do care about presentation. My bad. Thank you, babe. Appreciate you. You know, she keep her brother right. But I be having my moments. While that's happening, I need to fully just move this cutting board. Okay? So I only got that side contaminated, but I still want to be careful. I always keep extra cutting boards out here. We're just going to move this one over. All right? I'm going to leave that knife. I'm not even going to use that knife again. I'll transfer all of this. And that's my way of kind of remembering what's what. And then I'll keep this as my new knife. So backups, right? We grow and we move. we've got a couple of other things, and let's talk about that while this salmon is starting to cook. Other reason why, and I was going to cook the salmon anyway, I was just going to saute some of the peppers and onions with it, which I will add in now. I will leave about half of the peppers and onions uncooked, so we have a nice crunch, and the rest I will cook. The reason why I'm going to cook the salmon, and I was planning on cooking the salmon either way, is because in the croquette form, it doesn't have enough time to cook to make the raw salmon not raw. So I would have had to cook this anyway. 9 times out of 10, when you see a salmon croquette recipe, it's usually canned salmon. I didn't want to use that because I think this is a better tasting, better presentation, but also canned salmon tends to have a lot of bones.
Yeah, which I don't like.
I know. Now, my wife gets a little funny about certain things, so I just leave her alone, right?
I just don't feel like my canned salmon should be gritty or crunchy.
It really doesn't ever have to be.
Yeah.
Right? So fresh salmon on sale. This costs a little bit less, a little bit more than the can. Go with the fresh. You can do it. While this is working, okay, let's do a little bit more prep. And then we're going to go into our tortellini. And then we're going to come back to our salmon croquettes. And we're all going to finish and wrap this up. And you're going to be like, boy, that was quick. I didn't expect that to happen so fast, but I'm glad that it did. That's my promise to you. Okay, so for these onions and peppers and the grape tomatoes, organic grape tomatoes, flavor-wise, they're all going into our cream spinach. Okay? So all we're going to do is just make some slivers. That's why I said save your tops and your bottoms. You will use them. Just going to make some slivers real quick. And so being able to prep as you cook becomes an awesome, awesome skill. You will be so happy that you developed this. That way you can, save yourself some time in the kitchen. Okay. And now, while this is happening, this is an excellent time for anybody, and I mean anybody at all, to ask me any questions, to catch up to where we're at. I know you're probably waiting to see how this whole thing develops, but phenomenal time to ask questions, y'all.
All right, so if you have any questions, either drop it in the chat because I am monitoring, or you can unmute yourself and just talk to Chef.
Because, Chef needs friends too.
Very funny.
We're just cutting these in half, and you want to cut them the long way, right? Not the short way. Cut them the long way. Give that presentation of the long cut. It's really nice. You seeing anything for us, screen? I'm smelling that salmon though.
Not yet. We'll pause and leave some quiet space.
I'm smelling it. I'm smelling it. All right. The closer that gets to cooking. Remember, salmon is a fish that cooks pretty fast. So I'm going to go ahead and get to that. I'm going to cut about maybe a little more than a third of this container. Just because the tomatoes are garnished, they do add a nice pop of flavor, but they are also a phenomenal garnish in this dish. I just want to have enough that you see it, that it comes through. It's kind of my thing. All right. I'm smelling it. Let me go ahead and double glove. And let's work with this real quick.
Can you do this with other fish?
I would say you can do it with the tuna, right? Now, any flaky fish, so tuna, they used to do it with tilapia before they realized that tilapia was not the best fish. Now we're not doing it so much, but any flaky fish, it can be done with. So you can get your favorite, some grouper, some whiting, maybe even a kingfish.
The texture of whiting feels to me a little bit different though.
Mm-hmm.
Salmon holds together well because it hashes well.
It hashes well. That's what you're getting. You're getting that hash.
So I think you can do it, but like the texture would be slightly different. Don't you think?
Yes, it definitely will be slightly different. And
But it
if
can
you
be
notice,
done.
as you said, hash, I'm able to kind of break off some of these pieces that are already cooking over here. And I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm going to flip this, right? So you see my top has a nice sear. So that color is phenomenal, right? We like that sear, that burn, that's all flavor. I'm going to take the time right now to just kind of start poking at it. Okay. And what we're doing here, right, is we're getting a chance to just kind of pull this out. So as it starts to be done, you see that? You see how almost like you would pull a chicken? So as it starts to be done, it'll pull apart easier and easier. And there will be some pieces that they literally come right off, right? There's a little bit of skin on there. I'll pull that off. You gotta just watch it. You'll see it happen. But it starts to flake right off. And then that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna remove the rest of this from the skin. So now we're gonna work it. You see little pieces of skin. Now you can come in and you can pull the skin right out, or you can just flake it off. So this is much easier once it's cooked. I'm using my hands. Once again, my hands are a little different and I'm slightly a perfectionist. And bear with me through this whole situation because as I told you, this is a new recipe. My wife is over there literally holding her head, okay? I'm trying to be less chefy, less technical, but she knows how I get it. So let's just go ahead and let's scrape this off. Let's be smooth about this. Is that even a word I can use right now? I'm just scraping straight down.
You can.
I'm trying not to scrape down to the skin, right? Because that's where it's so easy to come off at this point once it's cooked. I mean, it's so easy to come off. So when you get to the bottom, it just wants to come. So I'm gonna pull that out. And that comes right off. And I'm trying just to scrape right on the top right here. Right on the top layer. Now, this is me being perfectionist chef because I want to get every piece of salmon off of here. But y'all don't have to do that, okay? Skin comes right off. My fingertips are different than yours. I know, babe, I know. This is also why most of the time, and you'll see I've gotten most of the salmon off of there. I can live with some of that on there.
And sometimes our family does not mind the skin if it's like
See that? There we go.
super crunchy.
Yep, so there's still gonna be some skin in here. I'm gonna pull all that out. And now that I've got the majority of the skin out, I haven't gotten everything. Now
But
is it
okay? Is it okay if you don't get all the skin off?
Yo, perfectly fine. The skin's not gonna hurt you. It's just traditionally we take all the skin off, right? Now, as we're doing this, I do want to mention what you just saw is the absolute reason why chefs take the skin off of their salmon before they cook it. They want to be doing their shows. They don't want to look like I did. I just look slightly rookie-ish. And I'm okay with that, though, because this is the real deal, right? We're really working with our people here, aren't we?
Well, I want to show, I like that you showed like the multiple ways to do it and get it done. Are you gonna, what was I gonna ask? My memory's gone.
You said, did I? And right now, the salmon is basically cooked. So I will point that out. It's time to pull that off. You see this? Salmon? Okay. Salmon is basically cooked. Okay. We are going. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and put this into this bowl. Okay.
What'd you season it with?
I didn't season it yet.
Why?
Because I'm going to make my mixture and I'm going to add my seasoning in there.
Okay.
And I'm going to take off the top layer of gloves, right? And while I take off the top layer of gloves, I'm going to add in my tortellini. My water is at a rolling boil. So you pull that out. Tortellini goes in for 5 to 7 minutes. Okay, 5 to 7. I have rainbow or tricolor tortellini. The reason for those colors is there are veggies in this. So tricolor and cheese, right? It says that you want to boil it for 5 to 7 minutes, and then you're going to want to drain it and taste it. This is going to be phenomenal. So we're just going to drop this in here. I don't know if anybody has a timer.
Oh, so we don't need to shuck it. That's great.
No, that's why I waited to cook it.
Okay.
Because if I had wanted to shock it, then I would have to do it's just an extra step that's not necessary.
And can you explain just shocking really quickly, just in case there's anybody that's watching
Absolutely.
it?
Absolutely. I'm gonna explain shocking while I make my pasta, and then we're gonna while I make my my tortellini, my spinach and stuff.
Your spinach, not your tortellini.
Now my tortellini is in a bowl. Moment. Shocking pasta means that when it comes out of the boiling hot water, what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to cool it rapidly. So you'll put it under cool water using a colander like this. Run it under cool water to bring the temperature to room temperature so you stop the cooking process so that your pasta doesn't become rubbery or too thick. That's how you shock pasta. Now here, you don't need to do that. So we'll let that
And
boil
you
out.
want to shock pasta if you're doing like spaghetti, fettuccine, because the starch in the pasta can cause it to stick together. I mean, I remember the first time that I did that you had me do spaghetti, and I put it in. I don't think I stirred it enough. I don't think I added any oil to the water, and I definitely didn't shock it.
And
So I kind of just left it in the water and ended up becoming just one thick, nasty tree bark.
we had to start that one over. It's okay. But here, though, we're not going to do that. We're going to do our spinach, which is very quick, and I still have some oil in the pan from my salmon and a little bit of salmon flavor. That's awesome.
Oh, so you're gonna use the same.
Great.
You're gonna use the same pan. That's cool.
Yeah, less dishes, and also it's the same flavor. Why not build over top of it? You want to put your items that you cut for your tomatoes, and you hear that sizzle? That means my skillet was hot, right? You want to put these in ahead of time. We're going to use a seasoning now. So we're going to break out. I put adobo, which is our personal blend of adobo, into this tortellini. I'm going to use some steak for the hard veggies, for the onions and peppers, and I'm getting a look. And I know
No,
what
I'm
look is
just-
for.
No. It
So-
wasn't a look. I just.
You're wondering why I chose steak for this?
No, I mean, so if they're using their own, obviously they're going to be using their own seasonings, right?
Yes.
If they're using their own seasonings, how do they get a similar flavor? I know they're not going to get a similar flavor
Some
because like our
roasted garlic, right? So garlic, a little bit of kosher salt, right? Some herbs, and you'll get close. Our
Okay.
blends, we have our own business now called seasoningbox.com, and that's where we have our blends at, and we use that all the time. We make custom blends just because I realized that I'm doing a lot, and it's hard to teach people how to do everything, so it's just easier to make a custom blend and show them. And did I answer your question, baby? Do you want me to go in more detail about the season?
No, that was good. So they can use some roasted garlic. Weber has
Weber has an amazing roasted garlic.
Weber has an amazing roasted garlic. I like roasted garlic on anything. If you put like an adobo base and then roasted garlic on top, those I think really great flavors.
Yes. And while we do that, and actually I'm going to use this bowl in a second. While we do that, I just put my onions and stuff in here. I'm going to add some seafood seasoning on top of this. So whenever you put salt onto, and I'm just using pinches, that's how I like to measure. I want to feel it. It helps me control the amount of seasoning. This is a big bowl, so I'm using 4 pinches right in there. And the seafood seasoning is another one of our blends, the seasoning box. But whenever you
And
put
it has
salt,
like lower sodium,
Much
lower salt in it, which is one of the reasons why I like if you can make your own seasoning blends. Go ahead and do that, or buy the seasoning blends that have lower sodium, so that you can get the herbs and spices that you're looking for.
And it works extremely well. I am boiling over. Thank you. A little boil over is not bad. Go ahead, baby. You're finishing. You said you can make
If you can, because then you're not adding just salt, right? We're always afraid to add seasonings because if there's a lot of salt or sodium in the seasoning blend, then we don't necessarily want to use it. But if you can make your own blend by combining different flavors that you like, then you're able to really like build on what you're cooking without adding the additional stuff that you don't want.
Yes, exactly. Now, I'm doing 3 things at once, so I want to take my time and talk it out. So I don't want to confuse anybody. I want to make sure that I'm being conscious. So my veggies have got a char on them. My onions are getting translucent, so are my peppers. That means they are caramelizing nicely. These are just about ready. So at this point here, you're going to take your spinach. You're going to open your container, and this whole thing of spinach is going to cook down to like this much. But that's okay. Take the whole thing, right?
And this like spinach dish can go with everything.
Oh yeah, this is sorry, babe.
All of these like separate components are so versatile.
They go with everything. I'm going to turn this down to like a medium, okay? Because I don't want to scorch the spinach. And I'm going to now pull out my secret weapon. This is my Southern fried chicken seasoning. Woo! Ooh, that Southern fried chicken seasoning is work. Okay, and
So
I'm
what
use
can
about
they?
3 pinches. So Southern fried chicken seasoning is what we always use in my family. My mom is from the South. My dad is Caribbean, Jamaican, so we have different flavor profiles. But this is what you would put on fried chicken to make it phenomenal.
So if they're at home and they want to try this, what can they use?
I would replace this. Definitely get you a little bit of seasoning salt, but definitely the garlic, the onion, the rosemary, maybe even a little lemon pepper if you want a zest for it, right? Some different things. And you'll see how quickly this cooks down. That's why I'm doing this in between my croquettes, because this is going to cook down. I've got one more addition to this, and then this is done. At this point, when it starts to wilt this much and really cook down, go ahead, turn it off. Turn it off, right? My tortellinis, these are also off. They're still sitting in the hot water because it said cook 5 to 7 minutes, but I don't want to cook it the whole time. I need to turn my attention back to my salmon croquettes, and we've got to mix them up. Now, for every recipe of salmon croquettes, you're going to hear that you should use egg. I wanted to show you a way to do it without the egg, that you could go ahead and help your family have the little guys come in, especially with the better backs. Bring them in on this one. So instead of eggs, we're going to use pancake mix. Just add water pancake mix. It's going to work great as a binder. And we're going to use our stuffing as our breadcrumbs. Holiday meal, tie-in stuffing, right? So
yeah, because you're gonna probably have extra of that around the house.
Exactly. I don't even have to open one. Now, this is already, it's kind of crushed up a little bit. So just, in your hand, just kind of grind it. Make sure you get most of the big chunks out. You don't have to be, it doesn't have to be perfect. Remember, you have turned off your spinach. You have turned off your tortellini. Okay? We're just getting most of the big chunks out right now. Okay, most of the big chunks. Okay, and the breadcrumbs help find everything. Okay, that's about enough. Just a couple of handfuls. And
What
now,
can I use what can I use instead of breadcrumbs? Well, I mean, instead of stuffing, I could use breadcrumbs.
Breadcrumbs. You can use the French fried onions that you would use on
cool.
on a green bean casserole.
Yeah.
You can use potato chips.
Okay.
You want to cover the top of this. Okay, so we're going to use an okay amount, right? Cover it. Don't be shy. Be liberal. Okay. And I do have to do one thing, so I do not want my tortellini to overcook. Okay, that is, I've got to pour out a lot of the water, not all of it. You want to leave some, and I'll show you why. Actually, take the water. Can you just make a quick look? Can you show them this, how this looks right now, cooked down?
Yeah, I'm zoomed in.
You zoom it, you see it? So that looks pretty amazing. Add a little bit of your pasta water into there, okay? Leave a little bit in the pot, but just add a little bit. Now, you want to know why? That's because the pasta water has starch in it. That starch is great for sauces. So we're gonna add two things. So I pretty much drained my pasta here. Let's make sure we have fully drained it, okay? And even though we're not going to shock it, we are going to just add a touch of extra virgin olive oil just to make sure it doesn't get too sticky. You don't want it to stick together. So just add a little touch, right? And just shake it up. This keeps it from sticking together as you get ready to plate it, okay? Done, that's simple. Water liquid in here, don't worry about it, we're coming back to that. This is time to be mixed up. Make sure you mix and you coat every little piece. Now, I normally don't do this, but I have to ask, are y'all all following? Are we in a good place? Because I know I've been going fast. I know this is a new recipe, totally new concept. People are probably like, Chef, what's good? Are we all in a good place?
They've taken class with us before, so.
Okay. Oh, you know.
Is everybody okay? Are we going too fast? You have another 15, 14 minutes. All right, we got a yes.
A yes, I'm going too fast? Or yes, we're okay?
Is that a yes, we're okay? We got a good. All right, I'm good. Yes, we're okay. All right.
Yes,
awesome.
we're okay. All right, let's be organized about this. We have 15 minutes, family. Let's get it done. Let's get it done. Okay, we have bowl.
It's
Salmon
amazing how much that one piece of salmon.
One salmon, onion and a half, and a half of peppers. It is crazy, okay? Two things you need to do now. I'm gonna use a flat surface because I'm gonna make my croquettes. I'm going to spray this surface so that my hands don't stick, okay? Now I use pancake mix. Pancake mix is a just add water mix. So what does that mean?
Just add water.
Has to have a little water. Now, when you cooked your salmon, you had a little water in there already, but you just need to add a little bit more. And I'm going to show you, we don't want it wet. I'm going to tell you why. If you make it wet, you're going to get pancake salmon cakes, okay? If you just make it slightly tacky, but not fully wet, you're going to get salmon croquettes. There's a difference. There's a difference. So we don't want it too wet. So now we're going to mix this all up, right? Get in there, mix it good. I'm mixing so you can see. I want you to see. I know details are important, especially when you go back and you're trying to recreate this. Details are important, and I just want you to see how the mixture is going to look, okay? Now, I always smooth it out with the back of my spoon. If I can smooth it out and it's kind of stuck, it doesn't move, that means I've got just about the right amount of, mix in there to keep it stuck together. Because at the end of the day, I have to form these into patties. So pause that for a second. Let's finish our spinach because the spinach has to go into our dish. And we need this skillet right here because I'm not washing my dishes, people. We need that exact skillet right there to do what needs to be done for our salmon. Here's what's going into spinach. I promise you some hot sauce. And of course, Old Bay, if we're dealing with seafood. You can use any hot sauce you want, people. This is just me being chefing. I have to have my things. And some sour cream. Sour cream is a better fat. It's not a good fat, but it is a better fat. And we wanted to make a cream sauce for the tortellini. So this is our option. So we're gonna put
and a good alternative would be like coconut
powder, coconut milk. Amazing. That is probably the healthiest alternative. Yeah. And you don't have to use the whole thing. I'm making for a whole family of 4 and I want to have leftovers. So I'm putting this in here. This is how we work, okay? We're going to turn this back on low. And all we're going to do is just combine these and then move this to another container for it to rest while we work. I use a good amount of hot sauce because I like the hot sauce. Super, super simple, super easy. Now, normally with the cream spinach, it's gonna call for milk. It may call for Parmesan, right? It's gonna call for some fresh garlic, and you add all that stuff in. With our seasonings, we had in the fresh garlic, we had the herbs, right? I don't want to add milk. I just want to cook off some of the water. The hot sauce, this is going to give this a nice color and flavor.
Could we use Greek yogurt? I mean, I know you didn't use Greek yogurt because I really
don't like
it. I've tried. Like Chobani is the only
Greek
yogurt that I don't even like it, but it's palatable. But I know why you didn't use Greek yogurt for us, but I'm just saying that other people, like, to make this dish healthier, you can use Greek yogurt.
You absolutely can use Greek yogurt, but I do want to stress though, right? Greek yogurt is a little bitter. So I know this still is hard to see the spinach. We have a lot of cream. Like I said, this is something that my whole family is going to work with, okay? I'm going to take this cream sauce and we're going to literally put it right into the tortellini, okay? So we're going to go ahead and just drop it right here.
You're putting it into the pasta.
Yes, because once again, I did not want to use an Alfredo, okay? So we're going to put it into pasta. I'm going to wipe my skillet. And now we're going to get ready to do our croquettes and get ready to plate and eat. This is the best part of my day, man. I get so excited. Wipe off the excess. Don't even worry about it. Just get in there. You don't even have to change out your skillets. Wipe it. Wipes pretty clean. There's someone to handle it. Did I get someone myself? Maybe sort of. I don't know. That happens, right? Messy chef is a good chef. Remember that. That's a rule. It's on the test. It's definitely on the exam. I don't care what my wife says. Okay? So now this goes into that pasta, which is still
that's very pretty.
This is going to be phenomenal. Wait till y'all get into here. Trust me, trust me, trust me. Now this looks like it was a rich, thick Alfredo. It looks like I put some butter and some heavy cream in there. Nope. And you ain't got to tell nobody. Just do what you do.
And they're going to love it.
Love it. Love it. Be happy. Think about it. Pray about it. Go on and eat it. All right. Hands. Croquettes. Preheat skillet. Cook and make. So when you're making things like croquettes, you want to cook it while you're making it. I pre-oiled this because, of course, my skillet's going to heat up fast. We'll use a little bit of oil in the bottom. I am using a non-stick skillet, and it is on medium high. I'm going to take a little bit of oil, put it into my hands, rub them together. All right? Anybody want to guess why I'm doing that? Y'all can guess. All right. And I'm just packing them.
So it doesn't stick to your hands.
Exactly. Now, if you ever have to make them into balls. Don't make them flat yet. Make them into balls, put them down, right? I'll show you the difference. Balls are just easier. If you ever have to make 2,000 meatballs, you get you some oil, you put it in a bowl, and you just keep dipping your fingers. It'll save you so much time, you'd be highly, highly surprised, right? Now, most people flatten them out, so you can flatten them. You can do them either way. You know, I always show you multiple ways, so I'll do some flat. We'll do it like that, right? We'll do a couple of, I'm doing about palm size, so it's whatever works for you.
Can you do a couple smaller for the 8-year-old?
Definitely. The little guy, you see, I'm doing smaller ones for him, and you know which ones he's gonna go
I
get,
know
right?
he's gonna get the larger ones. I know.
He is my son. That child is all me.
Yeah.
Now, the best thing is because the salmon is already cooked, all I have to do is get a nice little brown on it. Just some brown. So this is here.
Yeah, I do like that you cook the salmon ahead of time because I don't know that before I became skilled at cooking that I would like trust that everything's like cooked.
Nah, don't make yourself guess with that one. Just cook a little bit ahead of time. Now, because we didn't use an egg binder, some of this will fall apart as you sear it and plate it. Who cares? Who cares, right? Just do what you do. Make it for yourself.
Did you need me to get you a
Presentation?
no, you have one. I see it.
Baby, who am I? Who you working with over here?
Sometimes the guy who forgets.
Sometimes, a lot of
Not
times, the guy
today,
forgets.
though. Today,
I was just being ambitious and we're trying a brand new dish that I thought up on the fly because I was feeling creative. Yeah.
and you didn't want to do any of our regular dishes.
Nah. She tried, Charnel. She tried.
I tried to get him to do something regular, and he's like, no. This class has seen me many times before. I want to do something different, completely different.
Completely.
And I was like, oh, so you're just going to try something completely different on recorded camera? And
Yep.
he was like, yeah, I am. Okay. All right, no problem.
Because that young lady.
He is confident. Charnel said he's confident. He is confident and skilled, talented, and God-gifted is not something that I ever worry about with Chef. He is definitely he has got a God-given gift.
This is something.
Now, complication and allowing people to get everything in 1 hour. This was actually really good.
It wasn't terrible. No.
It's more complicated than
It's
some
normal.
of our past demos, but
Okay.
I know this class can.
This class can keep up. This class can definitely keep up. All right, let's look at this. Okay, we're ready. Let's start flipping some of them. No. I'm using 2 spatulas to be able to flip this good. I know I'm on a countdown, so we're going to go ahead and just try and get a couple of these to have a beautiful sear. Come on. Nah, stay together. Don't do me like that. This is what I mean, what she means when she says I talk to my food. I'm talking to it because I'm telling it to stay together as I flip it. Okay, so I want to just have a couple for presentation.
These are good as appetizers too, right? Like if you're doing,
Oh my God.
if you're doing a holiday party or something like that,
Phenomenal.
to be able to just do these as like little appetizers, that would be great.
Phenomenal as an appetizer, y'all.
You can also just do like salmon croquettes, but if you want to use a store-bought sauce. When Dixie has the Southeastern Grocers brand of international sauces, they have one of the best like sweet and sour sauces. It's in a bottle. It has SEG on it.
Yeah.
And you could just like drizzle some of that on top. It is really, really good.
I know. Off rip. Okay. I know I'm cutting this down to the minute. Hold y'all. Sometimes we're literally down to the wire. I'm okay with it. I need y'all to be okay with it too.
Ooh, that's pretty.
All right, babe.
All right, so we only have a couple more minutes while Chef is plating. If you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the chat or Let's see. Oh, you gotta turn around. When you turn around, they can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. I said I know that I am rushing. I'm cutting this down to the second.
And you gotta love this.
I gotta get it. I'm getting it right, y'all. We're
It's
cutting it down to
very
the second.
pretty.
I just need a sear. While I'm getting that sear, take a look at how that tortellini and spinach looks, man. That's amazing. That cream sauce that we made with the sour cream, it was so quick and simple. And y'all know I love quick and simple. Although today I didn't quite give you fully quick and simple. Let's go ahead and actually place this right here. Come on, give me my third one. Give me my third one. You know what we're looking for.
All right, so we are at our 2-minute mark. Chef is just about done. We are gonna pause right here
Just
again for
about
questions. Unmute yourself or feel free to drop your questions in the chat. If you're watching this as a recording, you can always reach out to us with your questions at Chef Culture, KULTURE, chefculture@gmail.com. Thank y'all so much. Do we have a finished plate, Chef Chad?
Just about. One more. Okay, we're gonna take with the 2 because finishing it is gonna take. I need 30 seconds for another one. But what I would do is I would just add another, layer right on top. Maybe some fresh vegetables, some parsley. We'll do a finished plate. We'll call this a day. It's pretty amazing, y'all. This is not super hard. This was easy. You can do this at home. I trust you. I think it's gorgeous. I love it. I think it's dope. Let's get it in. I can't wait to eat this.
All right, thank y'all so much for joining. We will see you next time. And thank you for dropping our email address in there, chefculture@gmail.com. Thank y'all so much. Happy holidays if we don't see you. Merry Christmas if we don't see you before the end of the year.
And last thing, remember, if you want some of those seasonings, seasoningbox.com.
Yes. All right. Bye, everyone.